All right, here we are. We're going to talk about seeds. Now, so many people are wondering, this time of year, it's February, what do I need to do? When do I need to start my seeds? Where do I buy my seeds? How many seeds do I need? What can I start growing? How deep do I need to plant my seeds? That will be in a video just a little bit later on after this video, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it, okay? I've been doing gardening forever. I've been working in a greenhouse for over 20 years. I teach school in a greenhouse. I teach kids how to grow seeds, to plant seeds, what types of soil to use. We talk about soil properties, what's in the soil, what you need in it, what you don't need in it, what's overkill, what's not. We talk about fertilization and all kinds of good stuff. So you get the gist. I've got some great videos previous to this one. I hope you're watching them, and I hope you're subscribing. And if you like what you're seeing, hit that button. And by all means, please make some comments, okay? Because what I talk about here might be kind of new to some of you. It might be a little confusing to some of you, and then it just might be old school to you, okay? So what I'd like to first start out with is, let's talk briefly about where to buy seeds, okay? Now, there are thousands of places to buy seeds. Maybe you have your favorite. Maybe you're buying them from Park Seed, or maybe you're buying them from Johnny Selected Seeds. What about Baker Creek heirlooms? Hey, heirlooms are becoming quite the thing nowadays. Everybody wants to be able to grow those cool tomatoes that look kind of funky and have all kinds of different shapes, but the taste is out of the world. Maybe you have a pepper that you like that's an heirloom pepper. And the nice thing about heirloom plants is that you can save those seeds, and that's another video that I'll get into. We'll talk about saving seeds because after all, seeds are starting to get expensive. You know, ever since 2020, just about when COVID hit, and we had to go through that whole thing, everybody just started gardening. Everybody started buying up all the seeds, they started buying up all the supplies, and on and on and on. And so it was quite concerning for a lot of people because they're wondering, well, am I going to be able to get seeds? You can always get seeds, it's just a matter of can you get them at the right time in the season when it's time to plant and things like that. So that's why a lot of people will order their different peppers in an heirloom. They'll order tomatoes in the heirloom. The thing about heirlooms is that you can get the true plant and the true fruit from that plant that you had last year. When you start diving into the F1 hybrids and those types of things, then what happens is if you try to save those seeds, you're not going to have the true plant and fruit from last year because you're not following the generational process, okay? And so you got to be really careful with that. You're going to plant a San Marzano tomato seed that you saved from last year's fruit to really be 100% sure. And if you're interested in it, I'd recommend going to Baker Creek Heirlooms. They're out of Missouri, and they have a plethora of seeds that you can order. Order one of their catalogs. You can get one that costs about 18 to 20 bucks, or they also have one that's free. And it carries just as much. It just doesn't have all the pictures that the one you have to pay for does, okay? Baker Creek is awesome. Jer and his family, they're amazing people. They've got a great business going there, and they actually get seeds from all over the world to share or to sell to us so that we can enjoy what other people throughout the world are growing, okay? So you've got Johnny Select Seeds, you've got Parks Seeds, you've got Baker Creek Heirlooms. There's also a company here in Utah, in Salt Lake City, called True Leaf Market. There's seeds that you can collect on your own, that the heirlooms and things like that, okay? like I said, it's February, but nonetheless, I want you to know that timing of planting seeds, okay? Let's talk about the timing of planting certain seeds in your house, timing of planting certain seeds outside in the garden. We're still quite early here. I know a lot of people are getting cabin fever and really wanting to start planting seeds. In fact, I have a niece that texts me and says, "Hey Mark, my kids and I, we just went down to the store and bought these seeds. We want to plant them tonight." And as I look at the picture, I'm looking at green beans, melons, squash, cucumbers, beets, carrots, lettuce, chard. And so I text her back and I says, "Hey, here's the 2 things that you can plant right now. Get them going inside your house, and then about the end of February, first part of March, you can stick them outside, and they should be fine growing outside, because sometimes those plants can take a light frost." Okay, and so those are things you got to be careful with, because if you plant everything too soon, what's going to happen is those seeds are going to sprout, or in the greenhouse we like to say germinate. Because what happens is especially if you're using the window in the kitchen to grow your seeds and have them sprout there, if you're using the big living room window that's facing the south side because there's lots of light and sun, or in a bedroom, or even downstairs, and you've got grow lights, you've got to wait, because if you start now, what's going to happen is those darn plants are going to get so tall and leggy and out of control that you're going to get frustrated. And what are you going to do now? How do you solve that issue? Yeah, that would be another video down the road that we could cover. But what I'm trying to impress upon you right now is to relax, be patient. Remember in some of my last videos we talked about being patient, because if you start planting everything now, it's just gonna frustrate you, because they're gonna get so tall and they're gonna take up the whole living room or the whole kitchen table, or they're going to be out of control down in the basement because of the grow lights that you're using and so forth. So you got to be really careful with that. Now, if you're going to plant green beans, beets, carrots, some of those seeds that you can actually direct sow into the garden, into the soil, then you want to wait till about between the 1st and the 15th of May. If you're in a state or in a zone, which in Utah, we're classified as 5A with the USDA hardiness zone map, okay? And we have frosts. We have frosts sometimes all the way into June, sometimes even end of June. Sometimes you just have to be careful and plan what you're doing from year to year and take notes, okay? So those seeds that you can direct sow, and what I mean by direct sow is I'm actually taking a package of carrots, let's say, and I'm going to direct sow those into my garden, because carrots don't really like to be transplanted. You could, but it's always recommended that you just plant them directly into the soil. And so if I'm going to take this package of carrots and I'm going to plant them in my soil, I don't want them sprouting in March or April or May, between May 1st and May 15th, because I could very well have a late frost in Utah, and if these things get nipped with frost, then most always they're ruined. They're no good. Then you've got to start all over, and then you've lost that time. So I always say that if you've got carrots, and you've got if you're direct sowing your squashes, your melons, your cucumbers, pumpkins, and things like that you want to wait to direct sow those outside around the 15th of May, because it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for those things to sprout or to pop up through the soil. And typically around Memorial Day here in Utah, we're good to plant just about anything we want to out in the garden, even our seedlings or our plants that we've been growing inside, okay? So that's something that you can do. Now, when you want to start planting those seeds indoors, I would actually look at the tag or look at the package that you have. Like, for instance, on this one, it tells you that it takes about 65 to 70 days to harvest when you plant them out in the garden. Typically in Utah, I'll plant my carrots around the 15th of May. I know some of you are going to say, "Oh yeah, Mark, you don't know what you're talking about." Hey, That's what I do, which works, what works for me, and whatever works for you. If you've been doing it for a long time, keep doing it. If you haven't grown a garden, or you're not quite sure, or you've had some failures in the past, listen up, because this works for me, and I won't lead you astray, okay? So do as I say. That's one of my mottos in the gardening, is do as I say, and you'll be just fine, okay? One person that I have been enjoying watching on YouTube is a guy by the name of Kevin at Epic Gardening. Kevin is very successful at gardening. Kevin has learned so much over the last 10 years about gardening, and he's taught all of us so many great things. He's recently bought a company called Botanical Interests. And Botanical Interests is actually located out of Broomfield, Colorado. And I love their packaging. If you look at this package right here, that is pretty, isn't it? If I could double up on the word play there, but that is a lot of what their seed packets look like. Just some awesome art of everything you can think of. There's one of some zinnias from Botanical Interests. I have a really good friend who used to be a sales rep for Botanical Interests, and there was a store close to me that was closing down, and they had all these seeds that they were just going to chuck in the trash can. And so she had told me that, hey, you need to get over there and see if they still have them. And I did, and I got boxes and boxes of seeds. And of course, I've shared them with a lot of people. This little bag here, a really good neighbor friend of mine had collected this heirloom watermelon that he grows, and he enters into the state fair here in Utah. This is called the Georgia rattlesnake watermelon, and he gave me some of his seeds, and I grew some last year, and holy cow, not only are they huge, but they taste so sweet. Okay, that's one of my favorite watermelons besides the crimson sweet watermelon. Georgia rattlesnake is an heirloom seed, so that you can save those seeds from those watermelon throughout the year, okay? All right, guys, hey, listen, I hope that we covered everything. I want you to know that I appreciate you watching my channel, my videos. I hope that you subscribe. Let's keep moving forward with this. There's many more videos to come. If you like what you've watched today, make sure you hit that like button. And please, by all means, leave a comment for me, will you? I'd like to hear what you're thinking about, any questions that you might have. I'm very good at responding. Okay, in our next video, we're going to talk just a little bit about planting seeds inside the house, and then we'll talk a little bit about planting seeds out in the garden. But we'll focus a whole video on acquiring our containers, our soil, helping you to learn how to do it the right way, and we'll see you next time.